Welcome back to Living Local. Whether you're trying to save money or just limit your trips to the store, strategically buying food in bulk can be a good way to manage meal planning for the foreseeable future. Well, here to talk about that is Chef Stu. He's here to give us some advice about what to grab and what to skip at the grocery store if you're trying to do some worry-free meals. Chef Stu, thanks for coming in as always.
Yes, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, so you obviously do this a lot, right? You run some restaurants, so you know the bulk type of thing. So what kind of tips or tricks do you have to keep in mind for people when they're buying in bulk?
One of the things I think is most important is to think ahead. Kind of think about what you really enjoy, what you need a lot of, what you're going to go through a lot of. Because you don't want to get to the store and say, oh, that's on sale, and end up with a whole bunch of something you're not going to use.
That will just sit there and then you throw away.
Yeah.
That's probably some good advice. Now, what kind of items are actually good to buy in bulk and ones that are not?
Right. That is kind of something you have to think about, because you just see it all sitting on the shelf and you're like, I'll have one of these, one of these, one of these. I've got a few examples here.
Yeah.
Some fruits are great to buy in bulk if you eat them quickly.
Right.
But then on the other hand, if you've got a bunch of bananas going up and they still turn brown, you got to think, got to work fast on that and make some banana bread. But surprisingly, something like steaks, you don't have to just think steak. You can make a steak and then make something else out of the rest of it. So when you're going to the store and you're saying, gosh, I don't know what I would do with 3 steaks.
Right.
You can actually think a couple of meals out, so you can plan that into your week. So then we've got some things over here that are like foolproof. Cans of beans,
preserved and all that good stuff.
So, you know, you get a good deal on that, stock up, especially if you go through something like that. Frozen things, we've got some berries here. We use those in smoothies a lot, so that's just handy to have around. You can pull it out and use it on a dessert, too. Fish. Fish is one of those things where generally if you're buying a little bit of it, it's probably been sitting around a little bit. And so I really highly recommend in a landlocked area like this, unless you're catching catfish off the shore, to probably get the fish in a little bit bigger package. You're going to get a much better deal. And then you have a little more playing room. So you can be like, try it with one dish and then add another seasoning the next time around and kind of expand your horizons on that. One of the things I also recommend is oil. I mean, that's kind of a big thing. Fats and things like that are kind of they're big in everybody's mind right now, what to buy and what not to buy. And if you buy these little ones at the grocery stores, that are out there, you can really add up. So if you can find a deal on a big one, you will definitely go through it. It'll last a really long time as long as you keep it fresh and in the right temperature.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. Spices.
Yes.
I will warn against this. A big container of garlic is amazing. A big container of oregano will lose its flavor after a short time. So if you haven't actually started making 50 gallons of marinara sauce,
large quantities,
you might want to get the little ones at the grocery store and then get the bigger ones of the things you go through a lot of.
Okay, yeah, it's not going to last you for 2 years. I mean, it still will be there, but it won't be the same by then. Okay, so is one factor to consider here if people are saving money or not, I'm assuming?
Right. Well, there's 2 factors really that drive the bulk pricing. Okay. So one is convenience, so I don't have to go to the store as often. The other one is I get a better deal. But if you get a better deal on something you're not going to use, is it really a better deal?
Yeah.
Right. And so one of the things that we look at in this is we actually have 2 sections of food here. So this is all bulk food at a bulk food store. But if you take the same mindset of bulk food and you go to a store that has a lot of little stuff, you can go there and buy a bunch of little stuff in small packages. And so now I've got 10 different kinds of cheese, where at this store I might have to buy 5 pounds of the same kind of cheese. How long is that going to take me to eat? Right? So this is kind of the mentality of it. You want to take this, you can go on shopping spree the whole day. You can go to the big shopping store with the big cans, and you can go to the little stores, and we really like these stores. When you find an economical thing, buy a bunch of it.
Yeah.
Especially in the smaller packages, it'll last a lot longer.
Okay. Now, fresh foods, do you recommend quick store runs for people or no?
So that's kind of the thing. It's really no big deal to run into the gas station and grab a soda.
Right.
So it's really no big deal to run into the store and grab some tomatoes or some green onions or something parsley you want real fresh. And that's no big deal. It doesn't take much time, it doesn't take much thought, and that's kind of what you want to keep in mind. So you see like the movies in Europe, and everyone's carrying a bag of groceries with bread sticking out of it.
Yes, yes,
That's kind of the mentality. The staples are at home, we get the fresh stuff on the way.
Okay. Now, before we go here, obviously, planning meals out ahead for the week is great for saving time, but what are some things that people should consider when they're shopping for meal prep?
That's a really great question. So a big bag of chicken can be made like 20 different ways. And the other thing is to flip things on its head. Sometimes you have different things for breakfast if you've got it already cooked or already ready to go. So we have ahi for breakfast a lot of times. We'll do pan-seared ahi and some eggs. Just because I had this, I was like, oh man, that would be good for breakfast. So just start playing around with when you eat what. And the other thing is like when we're making a batch of soup or sauce or something like that, you can put some in the freezer, but you can also plan it for another dish, mix it in with another thing, add rice to it instead of pasta. You can just have a lot of fun with it.
Absolutely. Chef Stu, as always, thanks for coming in. Good advice, too.
Thank you.
All right. If you would like more information about any of Chef Stu's food that he makes, Zeke's Island Cafe, that's a good website to go to. We'll also have those details posted on ourquadcities.com.